What's up, everybody? So a lot of things actually have been going on behind the scenes. So a lot of stuff has been happening that you guys don't know about. I've been sick for about 8 days. I just got over it, thank God. Uh, but what is in the working for the last cut of ARM Halo game is Halo 56. Now, a lot of speculation was thinking that this was going to be on the cut of ARM engine of Gates of Hell. That is not true. Um, for now, anyways. But there's going to be some more Halo games out for cut of ARMs for Gates of Hell. When the mod does finally from Gaia come out for the Halo mod, there will be a lot of other missions being done. A lot of other missions being done, and more. So let's go ahead and talk about the Halo 56. What is Halo 56? And if you guys don't know, if we go to my thing, the interesting thing about this is that my most recent video I had was yeah, seen that one. That's not it. I don't think I went live with that one. No, I think it was just video. So Halo 90 2026 fall of it's called Halo 90. I guess I misinterpreted the game, my own game I was talking about. So it's very interesting. The invitation rises, brothers. It rises up. So there's a lot of going on in that in the whole 9 minute video that's actually happening. So what's going on is it's the last of the last, and it's coming together for the biggest of the biggest. And we've got Master Chief, the Arbiter, Isaac Commander, and some other things. As you guys do know, if you have, I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you watch that, you'll see where if Commander Josh is alive or he's actually dead. And I think, it's really interesting that we talk about this is because the most interesting thing about it is as we get into this, right, as we get into this moment, we get into this big operation that's going on, is that many people believe that what's going on is the deparation of everything going on with the covenant and the flood and the banished, right? And General Red. So the interesting thing about this is not General Red, my bad. Well, definitely the banished. Is the interesting thing about this is that the year takes place at 2020, 2025, 26, no, 2557. Not 31, but 2557. And the Halo 90 is where it's the missions are about 24 missions long. Now you're probably thinking, well, Isaac, you've done longer missions. Why is it just 24 missions long? Why can't we have it to be 34 or 45 or parts or stories and chapters? And you know, it's because the reason it's 24 missions long is because it has to have a final of an ending. And one of the interesting about this is that as we go forth to this, is that we now know who this character is. We now know the Arbiter. We now know Master Chief. We now know Isaac Commander. We now know all the stuff that's going on. And what's interesting about it is he has to uproad his role. The interesting thing about this is that many things happen for a reason. As we talk about a team being leaded by Isaac Commander, the call that everybody's making as he does his big speech of Isaac Commander doing his big speech. The Covenant coming in of the Arbiter's Covenant and actually being friends with you and actually helping you versus the Banished that wants nothing to do except kill you and take over the world. Thal 'Vadamee is a very important character into this story. The reason it's 24 missions long is because, well, that's literally the ending of the story. It takes place right after the last mission happens, and we go back into here as we go into this, and we go into the last mission of, I believe it was the Covenant, the Arbiter, I believe. The Arbiter that took place. And this is extremely interesting because there it is, Halo 90. Actually, I already have the game called Halo 90. I didn't even know that. I think what I'm, as we have no screenshots, people. Okay, so as we talk about this, right? As we play this game, as we talk about it as Halo 90 Part 2 is going to be 24 missions long. It's literally going to take place right after what happened after the Chief and the Arbiter. So you have the Chief and the Arbiter. You have Isaac Commander and I believe it was the Arbiter or Master Chief, and it kind of like takes a toll a little bit because you're trying to understand what happened to the main storyline and where it's going and where it's happening and where everything is being done. And that's really interesting because when you talk about a story, it's got to be good. If any part of the story is bad or anything like that, or people don't like it, then I got 146. Thank you so much. If people don't like it, it's like it's where you're telling the story and you got to make it look good. It's got to be good. It has to be good. And Halo 90 Part 2, that's where everything leads off. Is he's in that big speech and he's talking, right? And he has that big speech and he's going with it. I'm very excited to build the story. Yes, it's a new dawn and a new age of the ending of the Covenant for the Banished. And see, Isaac Commander, he knows that. He knows it's coming. And he's been working with Commander Josh. But Commander Josh, as you know, I said no spoilers allowed. Nothing is going to be allowed. This one, go watch the video for yourself. It's right there. You can tell me. I know what really happened, of course, but speculation. This goes all the way back to where another game I created called Commander Finding Isaac Commander, and everybody thought Commander, Agent Michael was dead. The truth is he is, and I've already went over that. But why did he die? I think that's interesting. And we go back and it says it's nothing personal, just good business. It's about understanding that one role of this. And so, if Commander Isaac is here, but Commander Josh is actually dead, what type of stasis is going on with this guy? What is happening, and why is he dead? So Agent Toms is also dead too. And it's just really interesting how you put two and two together and it becomes really, really different. We talk about so much of the reality of this, right? We're talking so much of the reality. We're talking so much of what's really going on, what's really happening. And the interesting thing about it is it boils down to one character to another of another story. We go back to Jones and John and Sergeant Rick, right? And we see how that story was being told. We see where that was coming from, how the parts were starting to come together, and the end of it was just beautiful. That the Russian scientist that was bad, and instead of you would think that it would be a German, but no, it was a Russian scientist that went bad that was helping the Germans. It was just like, wow, you didn't see that coming. And so when you play that game and you play that mod, you're like, wow, this is interesting. I never seen anything like this. And then you do a remake of it, and you're just like, wait, there's a remake of this. this, and I did it for Got Arms Gates of Hell, and that wasn't the one. That wasn't one to one. It was a remake, not a remaster, but a remake, because I had the original on the Minnesota Squad one. Give me a second, get some drink. I have the original on Minnesota Squad 1, Minnesota Squad 2 1, and you can play that one all you want and everything. But the remaster was different. It was, what if that didn't really happen? What if it was different? What if, yeah, they're still playing Crashing, but I should have made it, Jones, Jones Part 2 or something like that. But this happened before, and the story that I talk about that I love the most is probably the Premier Triangle, and the Premier Triangle's got so much. It's got its darkest secrets, and it's got its darkest story, and it has that big connection that talks about more than just what's really there. And you go back of the millisecond of being taken out by this gigantic World War II but futuristic type of gun, air gun, AA gun, that took out the plane, and then he survived by a shield. But later in the rest of the thing, as we go back into the undercover mission, he was dead in the undercover mission. He just killed him. But so even though he died, why did he die? Like, what was his purpose? His purpose was really simple. His purpose was he had to find his team, because on the Premier Triangle, he had a team there, right? And the interesting thing about it is that we get into more of that production, we get much more of that story, is that his team, he did find his team, he did serve some missions with his team, and then he died. It's like he went black, he went blank, he went dark. So, and the interesting thing about that is that when we learn and we see this type of stuff happening, we see this type of stuff going on, the interesting thing is that it makes more sense. And this brings us back to Halo 90, right? So, when we talk about the Halo 90, it says you play as Master Chief and the Arbiter, enjoy 10 missions along, kill the Flood Leader. As we talk about this more and more, Commander Isaac is telling that speech. He's telling that speech, and he's like, he's talking about the fallen comrades. He's talking about the fallen Spartans. He's talking about the fallen Marines. He's talking about the captains, the sergeants, the overall. And the more he understands, the more he has to big with that speech. And Master Chief is like, yeah, I agree. I will stand with you in your squad. And then the Arbiter is like, I will stand with you as well in your squad. So you've got all of these people waiting, and who killed these guys? And that's the Covenant, that's the Banished, that's the Flood. And we see this more and more as we go into one of my other mods I did called Flood 6. I don't think it's got only 33. That's still weird. Yes. It says you play as Arbiter. You meet Commander Isaac and a new Arbiter as well. Enjoy. Missions have long fun. I've done the best I can level, so I hope you enjoy. It was 11 missions long, so this one was 11. Yep, 89, that was still in the works. But Flood 6, it's really different. Flood 6 is the Arbiter. You are Thelvadame, and I wanted you guys to play as the Arbiter, because I wanted you to witness his journey, his other journey, and I wanted it to be very, very different. I wanted it to be complex, more interesting as we talk about this more. And as we go back, talking about my sorry. As we talk about it more, the interesting thing about it is that when you're playing the Arbiter, you have all these missions. And when, the Commander, and this one, it was extremely different. It played completely different. And when you did meet Isaac Commander, when you did meet him, and the Arbiter met him, he was extremely different. He wasn't. He had the ship and everything, and it was like the difference the difference between when you seen him and when you knew if it was him or not. And when the story, expands around one area, then it can become better. So when we look at so much of the story being done, that took me forever because I had to get it right. I make games all the time and mods all the time, so it's always that most interesting thing, that are you getting everything that you need, you know? So I falter and I fall short when I'm trying to tell a good story, because I'm like, okay, well, did I do a good job on this, or did I do a good job on that? Is this really good, or is that really good? Love, feeling, passion, and caring, motivation, and wanting to do it. It's not. I know you're probably wondering why there hasn't been a game out for quite a while, and but the Halo 90, that game is extremely. It's different from Flood 6. But the interesting thing about it is that it's still a good story. It's still a good story, as I talked about it before. Um, so it's just really different. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to one of the interesting things a lot of people have been speculating on for a long time, and that is this one. And when people seen this picture, they didn't really know what to expect. They seen Isaac Commander. They're like, wait, that's Isaac Commander. Is he dead? In this picture, there's a lot of stuff going on that most people really don't know. And the interesting thing about it is this is a mission that you guys, that's actually not in the mod and not in the game. And this is a teaser of what's to come for the final of General Red. Now, you thought you killed General Red, and if you read this again, it says in this game you'll need to find the missing pages. What I can tell you is I use a paint program to find missing stuff for it to make sense. Enjoy. My name is Commander. Years ago, I went MIA. And it says right here, Unit 782 at 407 is dead. And of course, General versus as Commander, and I'll read out soon. Read out now. And what this really does is it plays out on current favorites. This is a very cool game, actually. It really is. Find Isaac Commander. It's a very cool game. And the reason it's a cool game is because there's more there than what you would think. There's a lot to have. There's just a lot going on. And General Red versus Isaac Commander is the final game that's coming out in 2026 of next year. Now, what's the release date? I'm pinning that between December. Now we've got another one, another Warhammer 40,000 mod that will be on Gates of Hell, and that's probably gonna come out next year of December. Guy is working extremely hard to get everything done by that time. But my mission, my game, my mod doesn't come out until 2026 of December. Now you're probably thinking, okay, Isaac. Okay, Isaac. What do you mean? Does that mean this December? No, it means the next. Not this December, but the next December that's coming of 2026 is when you're gonna see Commander 4. Commander 4 Warhammer 40,000 Isaac Commander. And that is a big, big mission, and it's going to be either coming out for Gates of Hell or it's coming out for Call to Arms. It's going to be 11 missions long, and it's the final one of Isaac Commander that he versus pretty much what was sent in. Very interesting game, I think. Very cool game. To say the most. Very interesting for sure. But let's get back on topic of what I was talking about here. So this right here, this particularly and truthfully is it. This is one of the missions that you're going to play on. So the question that who is this guy? Who's this unit right here and is dead? Most people believe that this right here is Isaac Commander. And guess what? You're right, it is. But he's not dead. He's been carried out. He's been knocked out. So what happened? I'll tell you what happened. When you're finally getting to the end of it, when you're getting to the end of the very final mission of trying to kill General Red, you'll need to go ahead and use two things. Okay. The first one that you're going to be using is going to be you'll be using one of these ships to fly. Okay. And when you're using one of these ships to fly, you'll be using General Red's going to have his own thing. His own ship that would try to take you down, so be careful to watch out for fire. The interesting thing about this is this General versus Isaac Commander is 24 missions long. It will consist of cutscenes. It's going to be very awesome and very exciting to see. And the reason is because there's a lot going on in this game. There's a lot going on in this mission than what you would think. It's very, very different. It's very, very different from anything you've seen before. Very, very different from anything that I've seen before. It's 24 missions long. You play as yourself, Commander Isaac, and you'll play as two other teammates in this game. And it's a juicy story, let me tell you. You do kill General Red for the very final time, the second time killing him. The first time you killed him, he had a lot of health. This time he only has 5,000 health because you killed his clone. Now you're killing him. So God knows how much health he's going to have. It's going to be very interesting and very challenging to do because there's a lot I've got to get done. A lot I've got to see where the story takes place and the final mission of where he is and stuff like that, The interesting thing I think a lot of people see when they're, doing this is that it is very different than anything that you've ever seen before or had before or heard before. It's everything that's there, and then you turn it upside down on its head, and boom, you're like, wow, I've never seen this coming. This is so cool. And that's what I'm aiming for. That's what I'm fighting for. And this General Red versus Isaac Commander comes out next year on next December of 2026. 24 missions long. Cannot wait to get done. Cannot wait to see what you guys are wanting to do. I've got a game coming out for you guys. And it's gonna take place a little bit like General Red, but it's not General Red. It's gonna be a different game altogether. Now, a lot of people had speculation they didn't know what was going on when they first played Commander 1. And that's because Part 2 is still in the making. It's not coming out next year, it comes out 2027. It's a futuristic, more of a futuristic game. Very interesting to do. But the game coming out now will be probably in January, February, is called Gauntlet. Gauntlet is only 11 missions long, and it's going to take place between not Isaac Commander, but somebody completely different. And it's called Gauntlet. Very interesting game. Cutscenes, some scenarios, but it's called Gauntlet. And that's 11 missions long, and that comes up between January and February. And it's going to be 11 missions long, and I've got to get back to basics and see what's really going to go on. But for now, the next time you see me or you see a video, it will be something interesting, something cool. We're going to be showing you off some of the games coming up soon, and we're going to go from there. Alright, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Now you guys a little bit of a heads up of what happened and the story.